Hi everyone, this is Emily Detweiler and this is my video for how does soil and land cover impact infiltration and runoff. So of course I started with the first area in the EDP process of asking how does soil and land cover impact infiltration and runoff, and what is the best land cover for a healthy watershed. And so I really used the website that was provided with the Wiki Watershed to just kind of see all the different areas that have that are impacted by runoff, and what comparing and contrasting the different areas of how much runoff and how much infiltration. And then I also played around with the different types of soil, and so I put two pictures here of, I was just really seeing that the more vegetation and the more grass and everything, there was less of runoff compared to like a built up city block, which of course had more water runoff. I used the quote again from Vasquez of where the asking part begins with a question about a natural phenomenon and seeks to develop testable answers to such questions. So the next part was to imagine. So I did use the example of the erosion bottles. I really thought that would be the best way to go for me personally. And so I looked up what a watershed was because I wasn't really quite sure what the definition was. And so it's a region or area drained by a river, stream, etc. And it's basically a drainage area. So again, the imagine stage is used for making predictions that can be tested. So I was trying to see what would be the best way to go about this, and then that's what led me into my planning stage of asking the questions again. Where should I start? What kind of materials do I need? What if I don't have time to grow the grass? What are the things that I have that I can use for this project? Do I need to buy any? And really the planning is where we determine procedures, identify variables, and define conditions, and determine how these results will be recorded. So here are the pictures of the progression of the activity that I did. I did do the erosion bottles, like I said, so I didn't have to buy anything. I just tried to find what I could around my house. And so I had these 3 bottles that we were going to recycle, so I used those as my base to hold all the soil and all the mulch and everything. And so I started by cutting little squares, rectangles in them, and I got some soil from outside in my garden, and I pulled up a plant slash weed that I knew that would have roots and everything. So then I used the 3 different bottles, and I used the bigger one to hold all the roots, just because I thought that would be more accessible for it. And then I glued string to cups, and I hung them the bottles, and then I poured the water in. And this is the first bottle that had just soil, the second bottle that had soil and mulch, and then this is the one that had the roots with the soil and the plant. So what I would improve, I would actually take time to grow the grass, but because of the lack of time, I did not do that. I didn't have time to do that, which just is a time constraint, and I would want to get the same size bottle so that the water runs off equally. I was wondering if that made a difference. And then I thought I would need more debris in the middle bottle to create more of a barrier, because you can see it's kind of still a little muddy compared to the others. So the standard that I chose was for NGSS standard, which is for K through 2nd grade, and communicating solutions that will reduce the impact of humans on the land. And so how I would use this with my students is they would talk and ask questions of each other in little groups, and then they would use the set materials that I would provide, and they would need to work together to revise their blueprint. And then they would use technology. I would have them use the Wiki Watershed app, and then I also found this website that has them taken to the different parts of a watershed. And then to incorporate math, I would have them measure how much soil they need using cups, and then measure the string so that they can use the measuring tools with this activity. Thanks for watching, guys. I look forward to seeing all of your experiments and being able to see what you do.